Welcome to another episode of I Am Maria podcast, a space where we explore the impact stories that inspire us to be who we are today, showing how our personal decisions and tools shape our lives. There are stories that remind us that success is not only about talent or luck, it's about logic, humility, and of course, believing in yourself. Today, I have the honor of sharing the journey of someone who came to the US during Gulf War, making less than $5 an hour washing dishes, and transform that beginning into a story of leadership, family, and passion. This is the story of Nadeem, a man who learned to lead not just throughout success, but throughout self reflection. Nadine, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you for being so kind.
And let me tell you that this is, I am checking a to do, a part of my to do list here today because since I joined Papa John's, I've always heard amazing things and I've always see your job. So having this moment today in I Am Maria podcast means so much because you have inspired me and motivated me so much, Nadim, that now I get the chance to spread that with my community. So I appreciate that very much.
Well, I'm very humble and I'm very grateful. So thank you for reaching out and thank you for this conversation.
Of course. And Nadim, of course, to get to know you a little more, I have to ask the very first question, which is, besides titles, besides everything, all the layers that we win in life or that we create in life, it's really the person that we are. And I want to ask you, who is Nadeem Bajwa? Did I say it
Bajwa.
right?
Yeah, no,
Bajwa.
Bajwa, almost.
Nadeem Bajwa.
Yes. Well, Nadeem Bajwa is a regular person who came in this country when I was 21, 22. I was graduated in Pakistan, born and raised in Pakistan, and came here United States for further education. Did not have any thoughts what I'm gonna get into. So I'm just a normal human being like everyone else who comes and try to make it work, try to do things for himself and his family, and I'm just a normal person.
That starts with everything, right? When you describe yourself as a normal person, that really takes you into what you were speaking when we had our chat about self-reflection, Nadim, and that
Yeah,
really took me on. And of course, here we're gonna start exploring who
yeah,
Nadim is, and decisions shape our lives. The
yeah,
decisions we take in life makes the person who we become in a way, right? So of course
yeah.
we can see it for hours and days and for life and speak about these decisions, but I would love to explore one, two, three important decisions that have shaped your life.
Yeah. Well, my journey is, uh, might be a little bit different than a lot of other people you talk to. Some of us get serious about life and their achievements and accomplishments early in age. Some of us take a little bit longer. So I'm one of them that took a little bit longer. When I was born and raised in Pakistan and did not take life as seriously as I should have. But it's just the environment, your circumstances, what you go through, um, you know, my life, why I am where I am today. It just does not start like with a lot of other successful people you hear from. Wasn't dream. The reason I chose majority of my family is very educated, doctors and bankers. And um, the reason I did not want to be that is not because I had a different passion. The reason I didn't want to be that because I always felt myself mediocre because I was one of those students who will just study 2 weeks before the exam. I mean, I just liked having fun. And in Pakistan, culture was much different at that time, uh, unlike US that you had to contribute. And I was blessed to be in a family where I did not have to contribute economically. And, one of the tragedies I faced was my lost father when I was in fifth grade. And my mother, God bless her, and my siblings, my brothers, they played role. And in but I was not the oldest one in siblings. I have one younger from me, so big family. We had six brothers and three sisters. One of the sister passed away a few years ago in Canada. But lost losing father in early age. Obviously, it's just hard when your other siblings are still also going through the path of getting into practical life, professional life. But like I said, family overall, well educated. I thought I was mediocre because I um, did not put enough effort to love playing cricket and loved, playing around with friends and whatnot. And just would go to school because I had to. There's no passion. And so uh, consider myself mediocre, chose not to be doctor or banker or anything else because not because I didn't like. I just thought I wasn't smart enough to do. So I thought easier way would be just to go towards business. So there was no plan until I came to US for further education. I mean, I had an undergrad degree in commerce in Pakistan and came here for business and because I thought that that's what I wanted to do. So that is my early journey, but I was 21, 22. I had never worked in my life before. So never worked in my life, was graduated, came here, first time flying. It was my first flight. So there's a lot. And I hope that tells you so who I am. But here, when I came, and it's just that moment in your life that changes you. What had changed me was when I came here, a lot of emotions, a lot of, you know, obviously cultural shock, didn't know what to expect. I only knew about America, what I saw in movies, and a lot of movies don't portray the real life. But the only thing that I saw better was that, living was better, more disciplined life in people. But I had to learn everything. So it was very new to me, if that makes sense.
Very new and you very brave
Well,
to come.
I'll tell you, I just, honestly, I didn't think, I thought it was needed for me to, before in Pakistan or any other country like Pakistan, which is not, obviously developed, there are not as many opportunities. And, when you get to 21, 22, you do realize that you got to choose path and that, your family can only support you for so long, right? So that at some point, you guys, when people grow, families grow, everybody's responsibilities increase. I did not have, lost my father. Siblings were very kind enough, and mom was very brave and very kind. But I just wanted to do something, and I thought I need to probably go abroad because in Pakistan, you know, I wasn't doing, I was just at some points I felt also that I was like sort of burden my family because I would not, I would not pursue, didn't have a dream. So that, just enjoyed. day by day, and wanted to do something. So came in US without any plan. But when I got here, saw the life and started getting serious about life, and just learned the importance of money, learned the importance of a dollar when I earned my first dollar, even though that was not by choice. I came during Gulf War. And obviously wanted to there, you only come with so much money, and then you have only two choices: either continue to get from family if your family can support, or try to do yourself. And I decided that I wanted to do myself. I did not want to be burdened on family anymore, even though my brothers were very oldest brother who supported, and who was very kind. Brothers were all very supportive, but I just decided, that was just moment that I thought, you know, I just need to do something on my own, and that's why I started thinking seriously about life.
You took a flight to find your passion, and you did.
Yeah, yes.
That that's
You
so
can say that.
beautiful. Nadeem, I think that in life we have a toolbox. For every situation, we have a box that like we I have this scenario, we open the box, and for me it's nature, family, spirituality. What's your toolbox?
Well, it is your toolbox, I feel, is yourself. I am my toolbox, and with every situation, everything you come across, you make decisions, and that's where self reflection come in life, and which obviously it's very hard to learn sometime, because it's very difficult to start acknowledging, start evaluating yourself, and what you do, and because most of us, or everybody, really makes decision always what is right for you. And going back, if you made a mistake also, it's kind of, there's a stage in life it's very hard for you. So I learned that how to critique myself. And when you make decisions, when you talk about toolbox, because every day in life when you make decisions, and that either impacts you, or the people you work with, or people who work for you, or somebody you work for. So it's all about people, right? And humanity around you. And every decision you make, before you make a decision, if you start making decision thinking how it's going to impact you, or how it's going to impact others around you, and that a lot of time tell you, you get the answer which way you should go. And right now, where I am today, for example, I have to think about three different aspects when I make a decision. Anything. One is how it's going to impact me and my family. The second is how it's going to impact the individual who's involved, if it's business related decision or even personal life. And the third one is the organization have grown. I'm just so blessed and lucky to have, you know, um, successful journey so far, with even some failures, which only made us stronger. That so I have to think about the whole organization. That I cannot just make business decision based on what it's going to impact me or the other person who's involved. It's just how it's going to set the precedent, how it's going to impact the whole organization. So I take all those three things into consideration for every major decision I make.
That's so nice because at the end is what you love, what you can give, and then receive in a way as well. Because if you're thinking on your impact, the consequences will be good for you and
Everybody
everybody
else, yeah,
else.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then also, what I learned is also a lot of times we end up, we, as a human being, it's a human nature. Not most of us, I would say, don't think about long-term consequences. And that is, a lot of times short-term solutions are easier to make, but longer term is the one that should be considered. And this is what I learned along the journey also. And I always tell my people that, individuals don't last forever. but organization that we are building should be built for generations to come. Because if you really want to leave legacy for your children, for your family, and your extended family, because I don't, now we have grown to about 5,000 team members, and I hardly ever use the employee word because I call them team members. We are all team and we are team members. I truly believe that. So those team members also, it's just the best thing you can do. It's all about life is about people, whether it's business or personal. So you just have to learn to live and accept and fulfill your dreams and think about others' dreams also, because otherwise you cannot just win. No matter how smart you are, any journey, it cannot be solo. And the day you realize that, you can lead, but you cannot fly solo, you know. So
Totally, totally. Being a boss or a bad boss versus a leader, a family member that will be supported and that people know that you got their back as well. I love
yeah,
that. Nadeem, I wonder, you were saying, okay, back in when I was young, I had a different mindset. I was
yeah,
on like, you were enjoying different things. Now
sure,
when you come here, you start shaping in a way your mindset, I believe. And now you have a different one, and that's how we live, right? But
sure,
looking
sure.
back, when you got into the US, what do you think shaped your mindset a little bit more? Was it the struggles of being an immigrant? Was it the struggle of being alone? Was it the family values and the expectations? What helped you to really understand and shape that mindset more?
Well, what I really learned here was the responsibility, and
Mm.
obviously, actually, combination of all those things you said, expectations, uh, expectations also. If you don't take serious about family's expectations or friends or people around you, your loved ones, then you don't take them seriously. I just started getting serious because when I there was distance with family and I saw the struggles when I came here. Like the biggest struggle is loneliness. I mean, stepping away from your family is a huge struggle. I remember my first roommate was I wasn't very fluent in English, so my first roommate was um, I it just this workout. This is how it worked out. Is Korean gentleman, and he wasn't fluent in English either. So we it was hard to communicate, and so homesickness, being lonely makes you think a lot. And there were nights that it was bunk bed in our dorms in the room, so I was on the upper portion, and I would hear him also crying some nights, and I would cry myself also, missing family. But you just had to talk yourself. And a month later, he ended up finding another Korean roommate, and he moved out, and then I had room to myself. So, first
Even
of
more.
yeah, even more, and tell you that it just that environment put me in place where I had to struggle a little bit. Like, for example, I was in first few weeks, I would when I was in Pakistan, I used to watch English movies, but watching movies and understand them and speaking is totally different, right? So I wasn't very fluent. So when I'll go to class, it would be struggle to grasp everything, to capture, to understand everything that professor is saying when you're in class. So I would try to write and copy and then, take it back to room, try to understand. And then, just that struggle, just think about it and, how it was day and night coming from Pakistan when, this language barrier even though, knew somewhat better than a lot of others people who come in and, don't know any English, but coming in, going to the class setup, and it was like, undergrad, college, it wasn't like English class course or first language or whatnot, and then just sitting with those people who were like already ahead. So I, like in Pakistan, I always thought I was mediocre because my family was like, very studious. And here I felt I was underdog because you're in race in the classroom or whatever you're doing, and because of certain barriers, whether it's language, also English proficiency, not only, and then some other things, that you're already behind, so you have to run faster in the race to get that. And I think that actually, um, I do actually attribute that struggle also. That is one of the reason probably where I am today, because if it was easier for me, maybe I wouldn't have worked this hard. So a lot of things in my life, I feel like, it's not necessarily dream. It's like the situation I was put in. So I thank Almighty every day. The struggles I went through, I just appreciate what life has brought me. So that's where I think these struggles are the reason where I am today, because if I had it easy, maybe I wouldn't have taken life seriously, if that makes sense.
Totally. As you're speaking, takes me back to the days that I was alone and, came coming here, and that really, that's where you find the beauty. It makes me think as well on the struggles that our our children need to
Yeah,
have as well to become the person they want to become. Now, you also
yeah,
mentioned, Nadeem, responsibility is a big important part of dreams. And
sure.
many people that come or that came to the US, with dreams, sometimes these dreams never came true.
Yeah.
What do you think it made the difference for you? Was it that responsibility that you had?
Well, I would say that's a combination of everything. I'll tell you, a lot of people, a lot of ladies and gentlemen that were with me in college, and I'll tell you, they were smart. I know a lot of people who were smarter than me, who work harder than me. But that's where luck is luck. I believe in luck. I was very lucky, and I feel prayers from my family, um, my mom, my brothers, my well-wishers, and then after I got married, my wife. I have three beautiful daughters. It's just just I feel, I truly feel, and I tell my kids also and team also, we just need to do the best we can. That's what I decided when I came into America, when I started taking life seriously. You need to do the best you can. You control the effort and the hard work. You don't control the results. So we need to focus on what we control. We try our best. And then when you have, passion, and I am, I truly believe, I believe in God, and Almighty, and I feel when you work hard, you are rewarded. Sometimes we might not see reward immediately, but I truly feel that we end up, there is a justice. So whatever you do, you get reward or punishment. So I do believe in reward and punishment when you do good deeds and good things. And this is, I consider, good deed when you're trying to do good things for yourself, trying to be successful and trying to help your family. That is a good deed. And this is what is expected out of you as a human being and as a family man. So you just put your effort in that, and then result in not in your hand, but you will get rewarded. I believe that you might not see immediately, but you will see that.
Yeah. There's so many beautiful messages in your words here,
Thank you.
and I'm sure many people will be inspired from this. Especially
Thank
Nadim, when you're speaking about being the best, giving the best, that brings, the consequences, the way we receive back as well from life.
you. Sure.
Where do you think that being the best at what you do comes from speaking from you, right? Is it
Yeah.
responsibility, competition, or something deeper?
Well, it's combination of everything. Responsibility, absolutely, but you have to feel responsible.
Mm,
And when I say doing the best is, healthy, I love healthy competition. Otherwise, I feel life is boring. So I just, there has to be that drive and passion that you want to get it, right? And if it's too easy to get, it becomes boring. So and this is so about me, and people around me will tell you also. I feel when I love challenges when we are going through challenges, and you just, it's about finding problem. What I learned when I, you know, got into business is I look for challenges and try to resolve them. And that's where you start from the early days when it started with Papa John's as a driver. That was a big breakthrough after dishwashing. And then after that, when I, became in management, wanted to do better than my peers, then became franchisees, wanted to do better than others. It's just that. And then if I wasn't doing anything better, it's doing better than others by learning from others also. So I was so open and learning from others every day and doing better. So the task that you are performing, you just want to do with the best of your ability. And especially the feelings, having this feeling of like, you know, being mediocre and not too smart. And I'm so grateful for that because I've seen a lot of people not doing so well because they think that they know it all. And that's where the downfall starts. So it is good to have that feeling that, hey, how are you going to get better? Because otherwise that the passion, that hunger, that desire of getting to next level goes away. I just love to, chase my better, me being better. I just where I'm today, that's not good enough. And but in life, then you just still can have that desire, but your personality changes, you get more mature, you approach differently, you express differently, but that desire need to stay in within you, and which is, and I just still, when things go very well, when things are going well, brands are going well, doing well, my business is doing well, and that makes me nervous a little bit because that is the part that when we drop the ball, that's when we start getting comfortable. So when things are going well, that's where a lot of people go on the other side is because they start taking things too comfortable. But that's the time. I mean, we need to do our best. Everybody does their best when things are down. But when things get better and you're doing good, that's where also you need to be a little bit more nervous because what you have accomplished, you don't want it to go to the south, if that makes sense.
mm, mhm. Yeah, you work hard, and then you gotta keep working hard on that
Yeah,
project or whatever scenario you have. And I think you lead teams in
yeah,
businesses that really depend on your vision, right?
yeah,
And that is you really need to inspire your team, also to believe that they are something bigger than themselves.
yes,
And I'm here thinking as well what advice we can also give to the young generation, especially the entrepreneurs that sometimes they struggle with balance, right? It's the
yeah.
ambition, but we gotta keep reminding ourselves the integration of family, work, personal peace. How do you manage everything? What do you say or share with your team and everybody else?
Well, yeah, let me take you back uh, a little bit. So when I started Papa John's, I learned very soon when I became franchisee in 2002. That time the plan was to have, first I signed up for 2 stores. And why Papa John's? Because it is just the day I stepped in. it was like felt like home because of the story, brand story, and founder was obviously really looked up to, broom from building from broom closet and business model, whatnot. So that's what I love. So when I became franchisee, um, it was first I thought we signed a couple of stores. Then I thought maybe 12 stores, 10 to 12 stores would be do enough. But after opening first, second stores and having some failures, like for example, for first store, I just you know did too much marketing, did not have enough training. So first day we ended up shutting down the store because we couldn't handle. I was the only pizza maker,
Mm.
and or my brother who was in bank, his partner also, one of brothers. He would come on the weekend to help, and it was tough for him too. But so during weekdays it was just me, and I didn't train people because I was afraid we were gonna fail. That if I do not do the enough marketing, we are not gonna have sales. And the sales I wanted to have with marketing, we like first week had to shut down store 2 3 times because it got too busy. And when I turned on the first day, I had 30 people working inside. But when they turned back and we had 200 pizzas to make, and I had majority of the crew walk out of the back door because people don't like to work in that environment. So keeping the balance you're talking about is just life is all about balance. So I learned that no matter how good I am, I had 6 year experience that I worked for someone, ran multiple 7 8 Papa John's restaurants, but you can't do anything without people around you. And you have to have good people who carry that passion, who don't walk out. People will walk out in chaos. Nobody want to be in that. So, and that really taught me the importance of people around you. And then when you go, my next step was to surround myself with good people. But when you look for that, if you love to grow, you love to be successful, you want to find people around you who carry the same passion. But if you're going to get those people, you're going to find those people, they still have the passion. You got what you wanted. But the reason you are going to be able to continue to be successful is you need to have those good people around you. But then if their dreams are not addressed or taken care of or fulfilled, then they would not be around you because they are looking for the growth also. So that's where the thought came, hey, 10 or 12 units are not enough. If I want to be successful, I cannot be successful without good people around me. And if I'm going to take care of them, it can be only done with continuous growth. Now today I have people around me, my leadership in the field, the main leadership that report to me. I have like 5 6 people out there. They have been with me, and most of them are, there's a gentleman who hired as an in-store. Now he runs over 50 restaurants. There's a gentleman who runs over 100 restaurants, started with very humble beginning. There's a lady, she came in as a shift runner, and now she runs a portfolio because those people are very loyal. They know, and I'm loyal to them, they are loyal to me, and this is how next generation after them also, that is the culture that we build in this Bajkco Group. That is what I'm most proud of. And then one thought, just to keep myself hungry and everybody else hungry, came in Papa John, started growing, and every chain, every business go through cycle every 6 7 years. And like right now, QSR going through a little struggling time, and Papa John is also in process of transformation, and but you always want to continue to look for issues to resolve to bring more efficiency on the table, and that's where call center came in picture. After COVID, we had labor shortages, and also, cost was getting higher, and how can we do, and that's where call center came, and I started my own call center, and to fulfill that. But that was at the beginning struggle. But we got so good at it, and I appreciate the brand, Papa John's, that they trusted to have me because I had to have permission from them. They trusted to allow me for me. And then fast forward, we got so good at it that we became Papa John's vendor. Right now, my call center is servicing like over 1,500, close to 2,000 restaurants. But that was no plan. That's all. It's all about starting with pizza delivery, right? And keep getting better. Same thing is with the other technology. We wanted to bring efficiency in-house, even though Papa John does phenomenal job with bringing technology, whatnot, but they look at mass level. And they also, but there is some freedom. Obviously, we are franchises, we have to play within that sandbox. But there are some things that we can do. So whatever we can do, how to resolve the issues. Same thing came with construction. Construction was also business that I wanted to sign development agreement. And we thought rather than hiring someone else, how can we do it cheaply? And we added another arm, construction. Now this year, our own construction company is going to build 16 Papa Johns. We're going to end up building 16. It's more than I committed for. And then not only Papa John's, and we built multiple other real estate projects also. And the one of the things that I'm most proud of is uh, when Maria, we had 5 units, we thought about if we are going to grow in the long run, we need to see how can we handle back of the house. Now, my majority of this business is owned by family, and my brothers are my partners. And we have, like I mentioned to you, bankers, you know what I mean? And so we did have that expertise within the house. And what we decided to do was having a back office. So we started doing back office from Pakistan. And
Mhm.
when we had 5 stores. And then when we got to about couple hundred, and just word of mouth because we shared what we do as a best practices, and now we are not just doing accounting for just our businesses, not only Papa John's, others also. We're doing accounting for about 15 other brands and over 2,000 units with multiple brands and not just restaurant. So none of this stuff. And we are now obviously advertising with call center. We build our own POS in-house that is integrated with Papa John's system, and it's AI based, and we are about to start AI ordering in our stores with our AI. And if you ask me how did we get there, there was no plan for it. It was just passion, how to get better, how to resolve the issue, how to find problems. So that now, whenever I'm sitting in yearly meeting or annual meeting or if any challenge comes up, there's so much we have gone through. I mean, and throughout this journey, in 2004, we hit a rough patch because we tried to go too fast. And that was a lesson learned. And at one point in 2004, there was like very stressful. 2008 was very stressful with economic meltdown. We bought a market, and overnight, uh, the revenue dropped in certain areas 15%, 20%, and variable interest rate went high. Loan payment went high. So around 2004, with just so much stress also, there was a lot of tension you go through. I ended up in a hospital also with stress, and then thank God it wasn't serious. But I learned from that also to keep the balance because you just cannot have just, you just gotta keep balance between life also. So, and you have to enjoy also something. So you cannot just continue to build, you have to enjoy also. And so with the time, with certain failures, for some failures, I learned how to bring balance also. And You brought up family balance. I have not done a very good job in the past. Um, my first daughter, um, I missed a lot of her birthdays, and now this is something that, some of the regrets that you have in your life, and I still feel, with the time I got better, but I wish I could have done more. But when I think back, if I go back, I don't know if I'll do anything different or not, because if you have passion, you want to do good for you, your family, there's some sacrifices you have to make. But finding balance is very important. But again, like I said, that it just happens when if you're passionate about doing better for you, for your family, and you just end up happening with you. When you want to pay attention to everything, you want to keep balance, and it is tough to manage, but it just comes to you. It does come to you if you really thinking from your heart, yourself, your family, and your people.
Totally, it's a full circle in a way, and I love how you drive us into the challenges that then later on become a success, and that really gets me to a question: was there a moment when you almost gave up, and what kept you going?
I'll tell you, there was, once I was asked question that what motivates you. It was in early days when we were like, when I became franchisee and started doing better, and then rough patch, and again got up and start running again. I think it's your liabilities. It's just when you think about everything. There were moments. 2004 was tough. 2008 economic meltdown was tough. But when you don't leave yourself any choice, that you have to struggle. I feel like at any point during tough time, I just never want to go down because I quit. I always want to continue to fight even during, bad times, during rough circumstances also. And if at the end in the back of my mind was always that if it did not work, I just want to be known somebody who did not give up and tried. And I'll tell you that mindset helped me a lot. So no matter today also what tough challenges we, you know, face, whatever, there's tough challenges. Every day we have tough tasks. I mean, today, like right now, the environment is not easy for business for in QSR. But I don't get up every morning and see bad numbers and get depressed. I actually get more anxious that how we're going to make it better. And that's what I'm always striving for. So that mindset helped me. Now, but tough time, obviously, I'm not going to lie to you. There have been tough times that where I did not think that if I should stop, but I had doubts in my mind if I'm going to make it or not, if we are going to make it or not. But I just continued to fight, just thinking, hey, I'm going to continue to fight. And wherever it leads, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I would not give up.
Don't giving up on hard times, and that really speaks on the results and the challenges that you have taken with fear, yes, but also with a lot of trusting in yourself.
Well, one
Now,
thing that I
let
learned is that one thing, sorry, I want to add for the younger generation, if I may, a lot of times when there are problems that you don't think that you are the reason for it, but you are in the middle of problem when you're in franchising business or when you're depending on other people. A lot of time people make mistake is they just get too busy into blaming that is not, but without registering that no matter if it's somebody else's fault, if it's impacting you, it is your problem to resolve. So I tell everybody there is there has to be expression for everything. Your anger, your attitude, your blaming cycle. At the end of the day, it has to expire, it has to end, where you need to acknowledge, even though you did not cause it, it is your issue, it is your problem to resolve. And then start thinking about resolution rather than other things, if that makes sense.
Wow, totally. And and that speaks on business and that speaks on personal life because you
Absolutely.
are the owner of what happens to you and you are the
Yeah,
only one that can change that.
yeah.
Wow. Now, Nadim, of course, I'm loving this because it's like we see it all from outside and we're like, wow, what a success. And especially in this world that we live now, it's like every success that you have is like we'll applause and like we glorify it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, how do you stay connected to being humble and to being grateful?
Well, because of fear and concern, because if all of us, and that's where self-reflection comes again. I mean, it is when people see from outside and this glory or whatnot, and when people tell you how successful you are, you just, as yourself, want to keep the balance because you want to. I I think about it. I hear a lot of compliments, and it's very kind. It's very um, it's very motivating, and it just you want to make sure it doesn't get to your head and ego, because ego is the worst thing. And you just got to be thinking constantly that, life is a cycle, right? So when you're riding a bike, that wheel is going to turn, right? That's how life is. So you can get into that cycle. It's just that moment when you make a bad call and bad decision. It can go, there have been a lot of stories. I know a lot of stories, people who are very successful went down the hill because the focus is and the passion is that humility is it's just something that you always want to have in mind. And little bit insecurity is not a bad thing, because you want to have that. What if? You want to think about what if. You want to think about there can be bad thing also, because the reason people talk to me about my success is because I'm successful. People talk to me because I have learned to be humble, because it's important. Humility is extremely important because you want to be reachable. You don't want to be too big. You don't, because and you want to be helpful. And if you leave that, money is not everything. But I'll tell you, life is a ladder. Success is a ladder. And when you start stepping on ladder, somebody has to hold that ladder,
Mm,
right? And those are
mhm.
people around you. So the day it's not one person's game, it's not solo show. You can be a leader, you can lead, but it's not solo. And the way life work is a lot of times you end up getting a lot of credit for the things because you're face of the company, you're the leader, but it's not just you. So you just gotta continue to tell, you know, continue to tell. If it was just me the first day when I opened the store successfully and shut down in 5 hours because I did not have enough people to make pizzas. And that should teach that should teach someone. You know what I mean? At the
Wow,
end of the
totally.
day, everything happens on the ground. In our business, the most important people in the organizations are general managers who run the restaurants, who are facing the customers. So all these realities you want to keep in mind, and
Yeah.
that will automatically keep you humble.
Yeah. And usually we see these words humble, insecurity as negative words. And the way you put it right now is it's really not negative because if you have that, your ego is not really there. You give a chance of exploring something else. I'm sure when you are having to take a decision, right? Maybe this faith and this connection to yourself, spirituality plays a big role. And that really comes to the question I want to ask you also, Nadim, is how do you mentor others now? Because I'm sure that you're saying a lot,
Sure, sure,
the
sure,
young
sure.
leaders, the young generation, how what do you tell them? How you're mentoring them?
Well, I'll tell you that about humility part and a little bit insecurity or whatnot. The reason I don't think they're like really bad words or bad things, and I'll tell you because I truly believe this whole universe, if you are no matter what religion you have, this whole universe, we are all created with this, if you will, with this, this rule, if you will. It's reward and punishment, right? It's good deed and bad deeds. You do good stuff, you do good things, you get rewarded in life. You do bad thing, you get punished. Whether it's if you're when you look at from a religion angle or you look at from living in society, if you steal, you're gonna get punished. If you do good thing, you're gonna get rewarded. And this is how it is. And that's what brings humility. If you're gonna do good deed, you're gonna be rewarded. And one of the good deed is that you're going to do is not just for yourself, for others also, because it's not because you're doing it to do somebody favor. It's because it is your need also. I cannot grow myself without people. And that needs to be known because when I'm gone, I want this organization, the Bajkco Group, to stay here for long after I'm gone, for my kids, grandkids, and all the team around me, their kids, their next generations. So this message has to, in order, I mean, how long are we going to all live individually, right? But those organizations that are here for 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, they're going to pass through generations and generations. And if this message, really this passion, this humility message, this does not, you know, push to the next generations, then that's where will be consequences for the organization. So this is how, and I hope what I'm telling my next generation, my people, the hope is, and the message is, and the push is, they continue to make it better, make this message even better, be more creative, make message even better, and relate to the next generation.
Yeah. Because with our story we can help them, we can give them tools,
Yeah.
and definitely creating that legacy that you're speaking. And I want to ask you, when you think about your legacy, what do you want for your children, for your team, for the community to remember most about you?
Well, that, what I would like to be remembered that somebody who tried and did good for my family and good did some contributed a little bit towards humanity and help some people and build the organization or help build the organization that is lasting for good. And as long as nothing would make me happy, the reason I want what I'm building with the help of others, my family, my team is something that I want to stay here for the longest time because as long as it will continue to grow, it will continue to give more to humanity. And I just want to be remembered somebody who tried to do something, tried his best to do good for his family and the next generation.
And the next one, and the next one, and the
And
next one,
next
and we'll
one.
continue to look for the future. And I think you said probably not, but looking back, will you change anything?
Oh no, I would not. And the reason is because I'll tell you that somebody who did not work in his life until was 22 and just for first 22 years just you know just did what I was forced to do with pressure and then found my passion, and then went after, and then tried to make up what I did not do before by just working so hard, and then just learned a lot of stuff to keep life balanced. And the toughest thing is to really is humility, because when you're growing, when you see success, it is very, very easy to not be humble, to have the ego. And that's what the message is, because without humility and passion, you cannot build anything for long term.
Totally, especially as you describe it. You can build a ladder, but at some
Yeah,
point you're gonna have to have someone holding it to
yeah,
support you. And
yeah.
that's the way. Nadeem, there's many people debating whether, to stay in their country, to stay comfortable at their work, or yeah, not changing, not taking the leap, not taking the step. What advice you give to that people?
I tell you, I feel change is the most uncomfortable thing, but change is needed sometimes. And sometimes most uncomfortable things you do brings comfort for the long term in your life. So anything that change, even my organization, I change things now also. Some of the major things we change that are uncomfortable for team. And I just explain to them. But if you do not change with the time, you will lose. It's a race. The environment is so competitive, it is a race. And if you do not change with the times, if you do not adapt things, then you're going to end up staying behind. You're going to lose. That's why there are a lot of organizations. I mean, there are a lot of examples out there. I mean, where is Kodak today? Think about it. Where is Blockbuster Video? There are a lot of companies out there you see in the history that they have not changed with the time. Same thing with a lot of people I know, that you have to change. And it's uncomfortable. That's why people don't like to think. But you evaluate anything that comes your way. You That's where self-reflection comes, because a lot of time we change, our ego comes in picture, not just comfort. Because a lot of time I see people thinking, well, I've been doing it for 20 years or 10 years. It has worked. Why it wouldn't work? Because things have changed and you have to change with things. I was like, when I started with Papa John's as a driver and then started running shifts and came in management, we used to take orders with pen and paper, with daily slips. So first time I was multi-unit and running multi-unit. And when the first time the computer came in the system, that was the most uncomfortable thing. There was so much pushback and I was not. And one day I thought, even though I was overseeing 7 restaurants, and I thought, you know what? Because my people were uncomfortable, I went in stores myself, ran shifts myself, even though I had 6, 7 GMs, 7 stores I was running. And I just learned myself. I got good at it. It was very uncomfortable. But I knew everywhere you go, I had to tell myself, you need to, or you're going to be behind. And it was very uncomfortable, but we got when every day we go through these things. And I believe in changing new challenges, because these are changes not easy. As a human, I mean, who want to be uncomfortable? And, but you have to ask yourself, is this something, what we are doing right now in QSR, what is happening? Extremely competitive environment. Papa John's pizza is better than any other pizza. You can think, why should I discount? Why it shouldn't be $5 higher than other? Because use better ingredients, better pizza. But at the same time, the consumer mindset you have to see, right? So that's why change is recurring, change is continuous, and just need to see if this is the right thing to do. Then even if it's tough, you have to make tough choices to get better, to grow.
Wow, totally. Nadim, our time is getting here. I wish not, but I have two more questions for you.
Okay.
First of all, is you motivate me a lot, and I want to ask you
Thank
who motivates you, and also what would you like people listening to take away from this episode?
you. Well, in my life, I'm lucky enough to have a lot of people who have motivated me in the past and who motivate me now. My family, sibling, my wife, my kids are my motivation. Team around me is my motivation. There's some people came in my life who motivated me a lot. One of them was Papa John's founder, John, good friend, how he built the brand and how he set the model. Um, and then everybody along this journey there who came along this journey motivated me. And a lot of people out there who are motivated, every success motivates me, every success story motivates me.
Thank you. And we're going to erase this part. The computer, I don't know why was not connected and the battery was about to turn off. And I'm like, I need to run, but I won't be showing like running.
Do
Um,
you want me to say it again?
no, we got it all. I was sure that and I'm like,
Okay.
Nadeem, just let me just tell you that I was running for this. I apologize.
Okay.
Um, Nadeem, that is so beautiful because at the end, everybody motivates each other, right? And we're just
Yeah,
gonna have to keep that motivation.
yeah,
So I really hope if you are in the office any day, please, please, please stop by. I would love to shake your hand and give you a hug for
no
this
problem.
amazing episode. Um, and for the people listening to us, Nadine
Maria,
stories. Re
I am going to be in office in November, probably. I think on 20th I will be stopping by briefly for a meeting, and yeah, I will give you I will let you know ahead of time, and I would love to come and say hello.
I hope so. I'm right across Patrick's office. Like as soon as you
Okay.
walk in, you'll see my office. So please, really stop by. I will love to see you in person.
Well, thank you so much. I would do that, Maria.
Thank you, Nadine. And just to close up,
Thank you.
Nadine's story reminds us that success isn't built overnight. It is built on humility, logic, and the courage to look inward. Sometimes our journey isn't about knowing exactly who will become. It's about showing up, working hard, and learning to see ourselves with clarity. Until the next time, thank you for being here. This is I Am Maria podcast.